this episode of CobbTV, we are talking about the drumming style of Lol Tolhurst from The Cure. Yes, and be sure to like and subscribe for more epic musical content. Now, a short disclaimer is that Lol Tolhurst only played on like the first 4 Cure records up until about 1985 when he switched to keyboards, where he was the keyboard player up until about 1989. But let's start from the beginning and just focus on the drumming on those early Cure records because he definitely laid down the groundwork for their sound. Now, humble beginnings. Lol discovered his love for music when he would bring home records, and one record really stuck out to him and was extremely influential to him, and that was Axis Bold as Love by Jimi Hendrix. And he was childhood friends with Robert Smith, but they didn't start playing music together until they were about teenagers, and they would play in the music room at school to avoid being in the rain, and they both shared a love for Jimi Hendrix. They even covered the song Foxy Lady on the first Cure record, Three Imaginary Boys. Now, when you listen to that first Cure record, he is doing 4 on the floor on the kick drum in most of those grooves, whether it's a 2-beat feel like in 10:15 Saturday Night, or that hyper disco indie beat that Tolhurst definitely put his own stamp of originality on in songs like Jumping Someone Else's Train. And if you were paying close attention to the way I was playing that groove, you'll see that I was lifting my hand out of the way while playing those backbeat hits, kind of like the Charlie Watts beat skip thing. That's something that Lol would also do that made him very unique. And that hyper disco indie drum beat that I was playing, you can hear it all over the 2000s, like in songs like A-Punk by Vampire Weekend. The Cure were very, very ahead of their time. And speaking of influential, Modest Mouse's late drummer Jeremiah Green has said that the 4th Cure album, Pornography, is the one that influenced him the most as a musician, and I would argue that it has some of Lol's most unique drumming parts. Songs like Siamese Twins, drumming has also been described as like a drum machine and tribal, and you can really hear this in The Hanging Garden. But perhaps my favorite groove on that album is going to be the Figurehead, where if you watch The Cure playing with the French ballet, Lol is using mallets to play that groove. And what I really love about it is that displaced backbeat. He moves the backbeat, instead of on beat 3 making it a halftime groove, he moves it just an 1/8 note ahead, and it totally changes the feel. And that turnaround tom-tom roll is just the cherry on the top of the cake when listening to this groove. And we can't end the video without talking about his drum fills, and he really only played drum fills on the first Cure record. The main one is a 3-stroke rough, but what made it unique as a right-handed drummer is he would start this fill on the left hand, usually on beat 4, which is really cool because he's playing the backbeat with his left hand, so really this fill is just a continuation of that backbeat. And my favorite example of this is on the song Grinding Halt. And of course, probably his most iconic drum fill is that quarter note triplet that he matches with the guitar hook in Boys Don't Cry. And a small note about his setup is that instead of a normal rack tom rig, he used rototoms, as well as a splash cymbal that he would incorporate a lot into the grooves of those early Cure records. Just something to listen and look out for if you're really trying to emulate him note for note. There you have it, just a quick expose on Lol Tolhurst's drumming style. Be sure to like and subscribe for more epic musical content. But in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.